Today's video, we're going to be working on this. This is a 1920s easy washing machine engine. This engine's kind of weird and has a bunch of unique features about it, and is probably the smallest hit and miss engine you'll ever see. In today's video, we're going to see if we can get it running as well as see all the unique features of it. Hope you guys enjoy, and let's get right into it. I picked this engine up pretty cheap a few months ago on an auction and decided I better make a video on it, as the engine's design is very unique and it has a lot of fancy high-tech components for an engine of its time. Currently, this engine's sitting missing a couple parts as well as bent push rods and stuck valves, but in today's video we're going to tear it all the way down, show you all the unique features, and hopefully get the thing running in the end. Originally, this engine would have been mounted underneath the wash tub of a washing machine. That's what this giant plate on top is for. I don't really like the look of it, so hopefully by the end of this video I'll have it set up so you don't need it to mount it, even though it hangs off it originally. With that all being said, let's dig right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions about the easy washing machine engines or have any information on them, feel free to leave a comment down below. I try to respond to all of them and I greatly appreciate them, and they really help the channel out. So this is where we get into kind of the uniqueness of this engine. Number one, this crankshaft's split in half, so this side of the crankshaft just rides on a pin on the throw of the other side of the crankshaft. The next neat thing about this is the fact that this is pretty much just a traditional hit and miss engine with how the latch out and governing system works. So right here on the crankshaft throw, we've got a fob weight here that flings out, pushing this collar right here in the back, pushes this arm back and forth, which holds the exhaust open, all in a swift motion of the crankshaft. And then the cam lobes right there, as you can see, it pushes the exhaust open. This is the exhaust rocker for the push rod right here. And then when it gets too fast or too slow, this comes in and blocks that from coming back, holding the exhaust open, allowing this engine to coast, exactly like a full-size hit and miss engine. And this is about as small of that style engine you'll ever see, which is what's kind of neat about this. And on top of that, this engine has a full pressurized lubricating system. So you have right here, you have your cam lobe, of course. Right here you have this little lever with a spring on it going into this hole. This is an oil plunger that pumps oil from the base of the crankcase through two little ports right here. There's a little metering valve with a spring in it right there. Through those two holes, it goes into the block here. You've got one hole here. This hole has a little tube through it inside the crankcase there. Comes around, comes into this hole right here in the block. There's a hole right here in the block. that's drilled through the bottom of the block up to this main journal, which then if you flip it back over, you can see there's a little hole here with a plug in it that it drilled in to meet that port. and then they drill it even farther to meet up with the main here. There's a little oil groove with a hole in it. Then after that, that oils the main bearing, because there's only one main bearing, come to the crankshaft here, and then that lubricates this shaft right here. But then there's pressure to that, and they drilled a hole in the crankshaft here that feeds oil into the core of this, which then is drilled through this side and then plugged with lead. And then it comes over here, they drilled a hole here on the top of the throw, meet up with that hole there, so that oil can flow up to the throw here. And then there's an angled hole in the actual crank journal itself to oil the rod. That's a lot of complicated lubricating systems for a little air-cooled engine that could have just had a slinger on it. Now, on top of all of this, the way that they kept oil in this on any of these main bearings, there's no seals or anything. The way they did that is that vent piece on top with the flexible hose was hooked directly into the original carburetor, allowing it to suck negative crankcase pressure out of this engine through a little check valve here inside the crankcase, as well as through this seal port, and there's a couple other holes in these covers and everything, allowing it to suck positive pressure on all of the mains and sealing surfaces, allowing it to keep all its oil in and run cleanly. I don't know how well that worked in the long run, but it's a neat concept. It's kind of an overcomplicated, but also at the same time simple setup with this governor and everything, and that just hurtles around in there at probably at least 700-800 RPM all the time. It's kind of crazy. Pretty cool though. I'm gonna get to cleaning some of this stuff up and making an adapter flange for the carburetor I'm gonna put on it, and then we'll start to reassemble it and see if we can get it to run. With all of it apart, the first thing I wanted to tackle is I wanted to get some of the dings out of the old shroud. The shroud is made out of really thin aluminum and wrinkles like tinfoil by hand almost. So I spent about an hour fiddling around with it, only for it to look pretty much like when I started, but it feels a lot better and looks a lot better in person, so just take my word for it. As for the rest of it, it all looks pretty good, and I think all I'm going to do to it is brush it down real good, get the dirt off it, and oil it down, and it should be ready to go. With that being said, let's get this thing reassembled and see how getting it running goes. Now I got the block cleaned up and everything good. I'm going to make sure this oil passage is clean. And just like that, there's a channel from this side of the block to that side, which is really over-engineered for something this small. I'm going to get this main block assembled, and then I'm going to show you my idea for an engine mount, because I don't want to have the ugly top plate on this thing, and I want to try and make it a little more presentable for shows. And here's what I came up with for brackets right here. Just kind of little C-shaped brackets. And just like that, it has a stand. I think this will be enough. If not, I might run myself a little pedestal out from the head, but I think these two will be plenty, considering what it was mounted on underneath the washing machine back in the day. But we'll go with this, and if I need to change it later, I'll change it later. Alright, so now that we got that frame rigged up to at least hold the engine up, we've got spark. I'm going to work on getting this starter assembly working the way I want it to. Originally this would have mounted underneath the washing machine like this. It would have been a foot start. We're going to use it differently and mount it this way, because for what I'm doing with it, that'll be easier to mount, first of all. And second of all, I think it'll look a lot nicer for a show engine. Currently, it doesn't sit level on, like, if I mounted it directly on a board or something that mounts on this, it's a little low because this has to be up here. I've made a little brass bushing to go inside that sprocket to help shim it. That way I can keep it centered like this, and then I can make a plate at this angle right here, and I'll be able to make a mounting plate for it. But what I decided when I thought about that is I might as well go a step further. This kind of blocks a lot of the flywheel, and I don't think it looked very good if it sat there while it was running. So I'm going to make a custom mounting plate that allows me to slide this starter on and off so I don't have to leave it on while it's running. So I'll just be able to pull it off, sit it beside it while it's running. That way you can see the flywheel spinning nice. I think it'll look pretty cool. It's probably a little more work than it really needs to be, but it should be kind of neat. All right, all welded together. Check it out. Click it in, slide it in, move the little latch paws out of the way, click it in, good to go. When I want it out of the way, I can just slide it out, sit it to the side, and watch the thing run without it blocking any other view. So now that we got that done, I think I'm going to move on to finishing up a couple little things and rigging up a temporary gas tank, and we'll see if this thing will fire off and run. So for testing purposes, I'm not even going to bother rigging this thing up sitting on the pallet or anything like that. I'm just going to put an 1/8 inch pipe stub into it and mount it directly on the flange here like this. It'll work for test running it. If I break my solder, I'll just have to resolder it, but it'll at least tell me if I got everything else right, and it'll get this video done. I'll work on the rest of it later. Let's see if it runs. All right, we've got fuel, we've got oil, we've got spark. Let's see if this thing will hit off. All right, see if a quarter turn on the fuel works or not. Well, that was easy. No pun intended. Well, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. It runs pretty good. Plenty of stuff left to do to it, like paint that frame and work on the tank and stuff like that. But this is where I'm going to end this video today. If you like this video, leave a like. If you have any questions about this engine, please consider leaving a comment down below. I try to respond to all of them. If you have any information on these Easy engines and the Syracuse Washing Machine Corporation, please leave a comment down below. I always like reading history when people have it. But yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. It runs pretty nice. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you know anybody else that would enjoy it, please consider sending it to them. Share this video if you know anyone that would like it. And if you like hit and miss engine and air-cooled engine and antique engines in general, please consider subscribing. I try to upload a video a month. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. You have a nice day.